So I think it was 2012, Eli Pariser wrote the book, The Filter Bubble. And then after that, Axel Bruns wrote a book entitled Are Filter Bubbles Real? And his answer at the time was no, they're not. And this belief that everybody saw a different Google was not true at the time. And so we weren't being fragmented. But in the era of personalization and in the higher value that we get, yes, we will see different Googles. We will see different results as we go. And I think we still have this reflex in mass media that we have to be a mass, that we all have to see the same thing. And I think that to a great measure is a waste of people's time to be treated the same as everybody else when you know more about them. But this is a change I'm going back to Jason's earlier questions in this context. There is a change here in Google's philosophy about personalization. And how often do you think that the answers need to be standard, need to be similar for everyone? And how often is that unnecessary?
Yeah. So I think it's a great question. I think there's maybe a few different angles to look at this. Some question the same answer is just like a waste of time, right? So like you're not all going to buy the same shoes. It does not matter whether or not we give you all the same shoes. You're still not all going to buy the same shoes, right? So pretending that we know the absolute best shoes for everybody is just not true, right? And so that seems an obvious case to personalize. If you take something like news with preferred sources, we really tried to think about how to do this to be thoughtful about filter bubbles, but also to be cognizant of how people are behaving. And so when you give your preferred sources, we don't not show the default top ones. We continue to show the default top ones, and we show your preferred source. Okay, so you still have access to the breadth of information, but you can see your preferred sources more effectively. And so that's sort of important in that you have access to all of that information, but you can ensure that you can do that. To the extent that the top 5 sources would have had paywalls that you don't have a subscription with, it's very nice that we put them up there, but you're still not going to read them anyway, right? But also one of the things we see is if we don't enable people to connect to the information they want, well, you know what they're going to do? They're just going to go directly to the site, right? They're actually, this hope that this will somehow prevent a filter bubble backfires, because they don't expose themselves to multiple sources. They just go directly to the source they want, right? And so actually enabling people to see the source that they recognize and trust, as well as other sources, gives them variety. I actually think we also see this with AI with new opportunities. One of the things we try and do with AI overviews on some of these questions is actually present sort of more of a multi-point of view on these topics, okay? Here's what some people have to say, and here's what other people have to say, okay? And then we can provide links to both, and you can read about it, but that's a great place to get started and actually have people have an overview rather than picking one or the other. They learn a little bit more about the breadth of what the world has to say, and then they can choose where to dive in. And so I think it's really important that we are not narrowing what people have access to, but also that we're not telling them, sorry, you must use this, not that, right? People at the end of the day have to decide for themselves what they trust.